Hello students, today we are going to study the poem Geography lesson of class 8th composed by Zulfikar Ghosh. Before we start the poem, let's see the introduction first. The poem Geography lesson is written by Zulfikar Ghosh, famous poet and novelist who was born in India before independence. After independence, he migrated to Pakistan and now he is settled. Geography lesson is a 24-line single stanza poem that does not have any rhyme scheme. In this poem, the poet talks about three important things. First, how everything looks from the sky. Second, how civilization was established and the reason behind the unorganized settlement. And third, his question to himself why people hate each other. Let's start the poem now. So let's start the poem now. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear why the city had developed the way it had. Seeing its scale 6 inches to the mile, there seemed an inevitability about what on ground had looked haphazard and without style when the jet sprang into the sky. Sprang means move quickly or to take off. Make it simple, it means take off. Inevitability means that cannot be avoided. Haphazard means badly organized. So in this poem, the poet says when the jet sprang means that of course is the second form of spring. It means to take off. When the jet sprang into the sky, it was clear. What was clear? The poet understood why the city had developed the way it had. Because everything looked so small that a mile seemed to be like 6 inches. 6 inches here means everything looks so small from above. And it becomes inevitable. Inevitable? Certain. It becomes inevitable that everything developed unplanned, without style, without any principle of an organization on the ground. Here ground means earth. The poet repeats the first line, when the jet sprang into the sky. He saw all this when the jet is airplane, was in the sky. Right? Now here comes the second stanza. When the jet reached 10,000 feet, it was clear why the country had cities where the rivers ran and why the valleys were populated. The logic of geography that land and water attracted man was clearly delineated when the jet reached 10,000 feet. Delineated means to mark the boundary of something. So in the second part, the poet says when the plane reached 10,000 feet in the sky, the poet came to know why the cities of countries are located near the rivers and also the valleys are so populated. The poet provides the logic of geography, which is clearly delineated. Delineated, clearly depicted. The reason that made the people settle in unorganized way, according to him, the land and water, which are the lifeline and for our survival, attracted the early humans. The land here refers to the green land on which we cultivate food and make shelter. Like the previous stanza, the poet repeats the line, when the jet means airplane, reached 10,000 feet, to tell that he came to know about all this only when airplane was 10,000 feet up in the sky and he could see land and water. Right? In the third and last stanza, when the poet says, when the jet rose 6 miles high, it was clear the earth was wrung, and that it had more sea than land. But it was difficult to understand that the men on earth found causes to hate each other, to build wall across cities and to kill from that height. It was not clear way. In the third part, the poet says that when the airplane was at the height of around 6 miles, it became clear that earth is round and that it has more sea. Here it means water. Then land. According to him, he could not understand why people hate each other on earth. Why we built walls. Walls means, of course, boundaries, right? Across cities, means across countries and kill each other. Basically, he's questioning that why people are hating each other, why we are making boundaries, right? And at such a height, the poet sees a single earth and wonders why people are divided. He could not understand. Clearly, he is not understanding why people are hating each other, right? In this poem, the poet is trying to bring out the fact that human beings have achieved a lot of knowledge about earth and beyond. We have learned much about the earth, its shape, the emergencies of cities and nations, but we have failed to learn how to love each other, live peacefully on this planet. So let's discuss the theme of the poem. The poem Geography Lesson has been composed by the poet Zulfikar Ghosh. It describes the poet's opinion of the land below when viewed from the sky. He finds the earth the least attractive from above and continues going higher up. As the poet moves higher, he realizes that the country is full of cities and valleys. This made him realize that people are completely dependent on land and water for their existence. At one point of time, the poet also realizes that there is more water on earth than land. He also understands that there are many boundaries on earth that lead to hatred among people, which is not good. Of course, I hope you have understood the poem now. Now we'll discuss the poetic devices. The poet mainly uses imagery and alliteration in this poem. Imagery, when walls symbolizes boundaries or borders, and cities symbolizes countries. Means walls are telling us about the boundary borders and the cities are telling us about the countries. The second poetic device is alliteration. Alliteration means a repetition of consonant sound in a line. For example, in this poem, sprang into the sky is producing a sound that is the consonant sound sir in sprang and sky. And the next, its scales 6 inches. Again, the sir sound from scales and 6, right? Third is why the valleys were. Why the valleys were, it is having the sound were in it, right? So this is the end of the poem. I hope you have understood the poem. Thank you.